Hey guys, I'm Steve Shulman, the founder of Prop Juice. I thought I would do a game preview for tonight for the Bills and the Dolphins game and show you some new features we have, go over some of the parlays, but not all of them because this is going to be publicly posted. But I'll kind of show you around a little bit there. And then what else? Maybe talk about injuries and go through some of the games. Um, Oh, I want to talk about bugs and things about logging in and things like that. So I know some of you guys have had some bad experiences logging in. We apologize. We put a fix in today for that. So if you were like being shut out of the system or was saying you didn't have an account, it has to do with a caching issue and like your history of browsing and it wanting an old version of the app when we update it. And we're constantly making updates because we're making improvements and everything else. So it's just kind of where we're at right now. If you do encounter a login issue, the best thing to do is use an incognito window or private browser in Safari or whatever your favorite kind of private browsing application is or browser is. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. This bet tracking actually is coming soon. We actually had success today. So we were able to, I can't see because I'm too close to the screen. It's called being old. We actually uh, successfully did a sync on my DraftKings books today and ESPN Bet. So it's coming. We're working out the visualization from it from the latest data we got back. So hopefully maybe next week we'll see. You got the top bets of the day. This one is a little squirrely for me, so I don't think it's a bad bet. I might add some points to it. What you got Browning for the Bengals backup, who's not a bad quarterback. He's actually a pretty serviceable backup. I'd say he's probably the second, third best backup in the league. Playing Carson Wentz from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, JJ McCarthy kind of sucked. Like he was only good for 1 out of 8 quarters. So I think you're going to get an improvement in Minnesota, and I don't know if we're seeing that in these data. So I don't know. Cincinnati's got defensive problems. I don't know. This is either a stay away or maybe add some points to the Bengals for me. I don't know if that I'd bet on Carson Wentz. I looked up his stats today. He's played 2 games in the last couple of years. He played one for the Rams. And he played one for the Chiefs. He lost the one for the Chiefs, won the one with the Rams. Both of them had under 175 yards. One had 2 touchdowns. One had zero. Won the one with 2 touchdowns. Didn't win the one with zero. So you never know which Wentz is coming out. So let's go into the game tonight. Looking at Buffalo and Miami. Of course, it's not responsive because I'm on here. There we go. All right. We have a really heavy line. We went over this on the podcast today. 0.84 for Buffalo. I mean, the Dolphins have been horrible lately. We actually don't have them covering, which I was very surprised. So I've got a -10. So I don't know. That's a lot of points in the NFL. For two professional football teams playing each other. That's a lot of points. So I don't know if you think Tua can make that up. I know Ed Oliver's out again for Buffalo. Waddle's going to play. He was questionable, but he's going to play, it looks like. So they just don't have any defense. They have no corners. So like Buffalo can throw the ball on them. So that's one thing I wanted to show you. We got kind of a new format up here. We got all your player props for this game. So if you hit this, you'll get all of them. Or you can sort them. So you can look at defense, you can look at just the passing ones, you can look at just the receiving ones, or you can look at just the rushing ones in this game. So let's say we would look at Josh Allen. So let's look at Josh Allen's passing yards. So we actually have him going under tonight. I think he's probably going over because of the cornerbacks and the Dolphins. So we only had, we got a 53% chance of him going over, even though our projection's 216. We got a 53% probability of him going over 234, which I think he does. I think he's got a rushing passing line that's 270. So if you think he's going to get, another 35 yards on the ground, you might choose, because he could get 50 yards on the ground, or he could get 60 yards on the ground. You never know with Josh Allen. So if you think he's going to get at least 35, you might choose that double. We don't do that in our player props, but you can go and look at Josh Allen. And then you can go and look at his rushing yards and see that we think he's going over 30. So is he going over 35? So 34 and a half. Yeah, it's 51% probability there. And then we can go back to his passing yards, right? This is how you can play with the system. And you can take this, to 235 and 35. So, and put the over. So there you got two that are both over 50 and you could combine them. I think DraftKings is giving that out. I just looked it up. It's under rush and pass yards under Allen. Let me look it up real quick here. Just in case you wanted to look at that. I don't know if the juice is better or not. So if you go under passing props in most apps, and then you look for passing and rush yards, Allen's it's moved. The line's moved. See, everybody's betting this. It's 275 now, 274 and a half. It's minus 112, and they think he's going to go under that because the better price is on 274.5 in the under. So we've got a 270. So you might want to bet the under. I don't know. I think he's going to have a good night, though, against the Dolphins. The question mark is they blow him out so bad that they sit him in the fourth quarter, right? Like the NBA. That's what's got me concerned. So, I mean, this could be one of those games where it gets really bad and, like, he's not even playing in the fourth quarter. They put the backup in because they don't want him to get him hurt, and then he doesn't get these numbers. So it is a home game. It's a primetime game. It's a Thursday night game. So maybe he balls out enough through three quarters to hit these numbers and then they sit him. But, it's like watching, Steph Curry, go off and then, they're winning by 30 points in the fourth. And with 6 minutes left, they take him out of the game and he doesn't hit his number. You needed him to get 30. He only got 27. So that could happen tonight. Just be cautious of that if we have a big blowout. But in terms of the totals, we actually have an under on this because we're not sure about the Dolphins scoring, right? So our under is under 50. We don't really get an over until we get back to we get 50 right at 47. So a safer play is over 42 or under 55. If you're kind of concerned about this number here, you can play with a slider bar to kind of set your totals. We got an under. We only have one model that goes over. And I think it's really just because Dolphins are like in the teens down here. They're not in the 20s, whereas the Bills are in the 20s and 30s. They've also scored 30 points, more than 30 points both games. So the likelihood they put up more than 30 on the Dolphins right here is probably high. We got Quan Edge right here saying that they do put up 30. So you might want to think about the over on the Bills and 30-point game. Again, I just want to kind of step back for a second and say I view this as an intelligence signal system. So we're providing signals, right? And so all these signals are individual signals that can help you make up your mind about what you want to do, right? The models have been really good on money lines. So you could, if you're not sure that the Dolphins cover or not, and you want to take a money line on the Bills, but it's just not giving you any juice, you could take a -6.5. You could push that to -9.5 because our consensus is -10. So if you think the Bills are going to win by 10, you could do a 9.5 on the spread. You could do an under 54 or under 50 something, or you could do an over 40, right? You could take this down to under because you think the Bills are going to score 30 and the Dolphins are going to score 10, 15. So you could go over 40 something. Again, you can play with all of this information to set your bets on team totals, the full totals of the game, different spread predictions, and then how you use this money line with the spread prediction. Our money lines are 25 or 27 and 5. Okay. Yeah. 27 and 5. So they're doing really well. Our spreads are more like 65% accurate. We're 20 and 12. So we have a higher likelihood of getting the money line right. But in between these big spreads and money line is a lot of real estate, right? So we've been hitting a lot of -2.5s on field goal games. We've been hitting a lot of -6.5s on touchdown games, and 9.5s on 10. So, you could do a 2.5, 6.5, 9.5. That's how you can maybe play that line. Then you can add some player props. You can mess with these totals. You can, even though we only have one model going over 30, you might choose to go Bills over 30 points. You could take that down. I think I got one in the parlay over 26 or over 27 because all of these are over 26. So I think I might have gone over 26.5 for all for these spreads down here for these points on the Bills. So again, you can manipulate and look at all these stats and information to try to set your wagers tonight. But let's go back to Josh. Um, and I think I'm going to take a lot of overs on 200 because I think he's pretty good for 200. Put the over on that. We got a 68% probability he goes over 200 passing. I think he could do that in 3/4 if they sit him in the fourth. I also think he's probably going to get some rushing yards. So we looked at this. So I think I got him at like 25, I think is his line, or is his second line. I think they do 24.5 as a line on most books. So 24.5 is over is 68. So again, you could do 200 passing, 25 rushing, combine those on a parlay with the Bills minus 6.5. That might be a decent parlay. Let's get away from Josh Allen here. Let's go back to that game, but let's go to the line so I can see more receiving props. So Tyreek Hill, we got him going under 63, but I think he's going to have a decent game tonight. I mean, you got Tua, Waddle's going to play. The Bills secondary is not like completely awesome. So, I mean, I think you could get Tyreek for 50 yards, 40, 50 yards. He's got a 70% probability to go over 40. I know that I was looking at some of them don't show up. So I apologize that we did have an issue here on some of these not showing up. So you can always go back to all and look for the name. There's Dalton Kincaid. Does he show up in receiving yards? There he is. Okay, receptions. But we don't have any yards for him here. Let me see if we do an under all. Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, here he is. Okay, so we're still having a little issue. So if you hit this all, you should get all of them if you can't find your guy. So there's Dalton Kincaid, over 25. I got him in for over 25. And so that's a 67% probability or so. I think it's 24. I don't need to put the 0.5 in there. Yeah, 24.5. So that's a 65% probability he goes over. If you look at these trends down here, one of the things we've added is snaps. So you can kind of see how many plays he has. By the way, these are all interactive. So you can take snaps off the graph if you want to, take his average off the graph. Let's just look at his actuals and the snaps. So here we got snaps in purple. So, sometimes Kincaid gets fewer snaps, but pretty much he's been consistent. So we expect him to get these kind of snaps. And so if he's getting these kind of snaps, and we expect him to be able to hit his totals, he's just been under 30 here. The book line's 31, under 30. So again, if you want to dial him back to 25 on a parlay, I think that's probably a good idea. Let's see. Let's take Knox. I wanted to look at Shakir. Do we have Shakir up here? No, let me see if I can find him in these props. Yeah. Okay, so we still have some issues on that. We're going to fix that, but here we go. We got Shakir here. Let's see. Over. So he's going to go over 40. I think I got him in at 39.5. I think that was like his alt line, like one rung down for like minus 140 or minus 130 or something like that in there. So I took him at 39.5. And I think I also dialed him back to 30. So you can think about that on a parlay. I think he'll probably have the most yards for the Bills tonight. He's their main, receiver guy. And then who else do I want to look at? Oh, Keon Coleman. So again, we got him going under as well. One of the reasons I think we got people going under is there's just so many weapons that they have, right? So they spread the ball around. So my approach was not to go with one guy. My approach was to go with all of them at not all of them, but Shakir, Coleman, and Kincaid for like 25, 30 a piece, something like that. So that's kind of how I chose mine, because you get in this 25 range and you get these 65% probabilities, and then you leg them up, and then you add a Bills minus 2.5 or a Bills minus 6.5, to it, and you get some juice with it. So anyway, that's what kind of we're looking at for the games tonight. And I wanted to show you how those, I wanted to show you this too. If you hit this money line and hit money line underdogs, you'll get our big money line dogs. So I talked about both of these on the program, on the podcast today. We talked about Arizona maybe upsetting San Francisco. I didn't think Purdy was going to play at the time. It looks like he's questionable, and he practiced today, so that's a little bit of uh, a rock in the shuffle. I don't know. So a little bit of a wrench, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, thrown into the situation. So how you think about Purdy and the quarterback situation. Though Mac Jones, I thought played pretty well last week against the New Orleans Saints. So I don't know that Mac Jones is a huge drop off from Purdy, right? You got Las Vegas. We got them upsetting the Commanders mostly because I don't think we even take this into consideration in the model. But Jaden Daniels is not going to play, and they looked old last week, man. I don't think they look very good. So, hopefully they have a turnaround because I'm a fan. I had my fandom on last week, and that was the problem. It was like blurring my vision. I had goggles on or blinders on. I was seeing, oh yeah, the Commanders could do this. But after watching that game, whoa, I'm going with the Raiders. at least Raiders plus 3.5, right? I mean, that's a nice spread. You can make some good money on that. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the games. And then you can, we've kind of gone through those picks. So I'll show you the parlays real quick. We've got the man and machine parlays here real quick. And then we've got some others down here. So, we got low risk, medium risk, and high risk. And I kind of didn't want to show you all of them. So some legs are hidden. If you hit these, then they'll unveil the rest of the legs in these parlays. So make sure if it says 5 legs, make sure you got 5 legs, right? We got some man and machine up here, some medium and high risk. Then we got some low risk stuff, and they go all the way to, medium to low risk. And down here are your Thursday night parlays down here. Maybe next time we'll put Thursday night parlays down here to make this go for Thursday night. And so there's your parlays. So again, please fill out the bug report if you see any issues or you think something's wrong or something looks funny. It's pretty easy to fill out. So you just put in here what your situation is. I don't see, I clicked on this, I clicked on the Tampa game and it took me to the Ravens game or something like that, right? That would be an error. So if you find something odd like that, please let us know. If you think of a neat feature that we haven't thought of yet, that you're interested in us, adding to the platform, feel free to suggest a new feature creation here and we'll take it under consideration. So I've got a list of new features there that we're trying to get in, as you can imagine. So I think that wraps it up. Again, bet tracking coming soon. Bug report up at the top. Be cautious of this top dog because we got 2 backup quarterbacks playing. Tyrod Taylor's a backup quarterback. He's playing for the Jets, right? So this is what we got on him so far. We got very few predictions because he hasn't played in a long time. But we got some actual data here, but he's pretty much under this 18.5 a lot. So, Fields is out with the concussion. So you got Tyrod for the Jets. I guess that's the last thing I'll talk about. So just so, you guys are aware, I would really look up your injuries, as you guys start betting on these games. So right now, let me see what he got. Khalil Mack for the Chargers is out right on IR. Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft's out now for the Packers. So the tight end is out. He hurt his knee in practice today. Purdy practiced today. So it looks like Purdy's going to go for the 49ers. Jaden Daniels did not practice today for the Commanders. So it looks like it's going to be Mariota. The Bucks put 2 linemen on IR today. It's 2 starters. So Godeke, they're like main linemen, man. They got Tristan Wirfs coming back from his knee surgery. He's not back yet. So, they got all kinds of line problems. And I took them this morning on the podcast to go -6.5, thinking that one of those guys was going to be back this week, but I don't know. So you might be cautious of those Bucks picks because of the injury report. So I just encourage you to kind of look at your injuries, look at what we've got going on, look at your signals in here, and then decide what's comfortable for you given a backup's playing or 2 backups are playing or they got no line or half the secondary's out, right? So just kind of, I would definitely check your injury reports before you make bets. And then if something changes Sunday and you've only put $10 on something, there's no shame in redoing that thing for another $10. So if you didn't like that, we took the Niners to lose or something and Purdy's now going to play, you might want to, alter that a little bit. So I encourage you guys to look at the signals and use the system as an intelligence system. I know that I can tell you things and I can show you things, but really it's all just data and analysis and visualization. So I encourage you to check it all out. Ask questions. You can ask questions through support at propjuice.ai. And we'll get back to you at some point. And then you can file your bug reports and your feature requests through the bug report. So, yeah, that's it. Good luck. I hope we win a lot of money. I hope the Bills win big tonight because we got some good spreads in there. I think I got a 9.5 tonight. I got a 6.5. I got a 2.5 on some different parlays. I hope Josh Allen has a big night. I think he goes over 270 total rushing and passing. And we'll see. So with that, y'all have a good weekend. Good luck.